This is the scariest sound you will hear when you live in a communist country. This is the last sound my parents heard when their fathers were taken away in the middle of the night.
The United States Navy just said something that the rest of America needs to hear. Standards matter. And I think that is where we're going with the decline of the United States. The acting Secretary of the Navy, Hung Cao, he's also in charge of the Marine Corps, for those that don't know that, just came out with an all-nav statement reinforcing the standards across the Navy and the Marine Corps. Getting back to basics, getting back to military bearing, getting back to appearance, getting back to haircuts, getting back to physical standards, shined shoes. We called them boondockers when I was in. We also wore damn bell bottoms that were made by the prison system. But that's another story for another time. But what we need to do right now is think about why the Navy did that, number one, and what America could learn from this same statement. Because the little things matter. Haircuts, appearance, an ironed uniform, shined boots, a clean shave, trim up that mustache. Those things matter, okay? And that is extremely important for the United States. The little things matter. And we've gotten away from it. You're seeing it across society. And that's all the military is. The military is nothing more than a cross-section of society. I served with people from Brooklyn, New York. I served with people from San Diego, Los Angeles, Lower Alabama. That's where I'm from. Texas, Montana. We are a cross-section. Military veterans are a cross-section of society. And with that cross-section comes an intersection where young men and women are looking for something bigger. Maybe their own motives. Maybe it's an education. Maybe it's a GI Bill. Maybe it's because their family sucked. Maybe it's they're just looking for a hot cot and 3 meals. Maybe that's what it is. Everyone joins the military for different reasons. And I believe right now in the United States, there are a multitude of people operating at different latitudes, different reasons. And sometimes they're not always beneficial to the American people. Fred's coming over to say hello. But I'll say this. The United States military has gotten away from discipline. Think about all of these TikTokers that you see in uniform, degrading the United States military, insulting superiors, insulting the president, insulting the Constitution, insulting the UCMJ. Whether you knew it or not, those are your employees. If you're an American taxpayer, those members of the military are your employees. And if you own a business, if you own a small business, how would you deal with an employee being stupid? I think you'd bring them into HR and maybe fire their ass. And there's a lot of members of the military, every branch included, that probably need to be fired and need a boondocker up the backside. We're seeing it. It's just the way it is. And I think as a society, we have devolved. We have gotten away from discipline. We have gotten away from good order. Think of all the people that protest and will spit, yell, throw things into a police officer's face. There's no repercussions right now. The justice system is screwed. What I would say, society doesn't hold these people accountable. There's no pressure, peer pressure from family members. How do we get to this next level of improvement in our country? I was in the submarine community. We have standards. You get a certain amount of time to earn your dolphins. If you don't earn those dolphins in that amount of time, they find another job for you on some skimmer puke. That's right, surface ship. Now, the submarine dolphins, it is a gamut that you run. It's a gauntlet. And you're qualified by the crew. Crew members sign your qualification card. They determine if you're successful. They determine if you get those dolphins. They determine if you become one of them. And maybe we implement something like that into society, where society, your community, your neighborhood determines if you become one of them. Now, I know that's me dreaming because it'll probably never happen, because some judge somewhere would put an injunction on something like that. But I can keep dreaming. And the reason we have standards on submarines is a little program called SubSafe. If you know what that is, all you need to do is go look up what happened to the Thresher. That's the reason we have SubSafe standards. There is a certain standard in the submarine community that has to be met with equipment, or that submarine doesn't go to sea. That submarine doesn't dive. We like our submarines to have the same number of dives and the same number of surfaces. That's what we want. That's what we require. That's what we demand. And I believe right now there needs to be more demands placed back on society. Everyone fails. I understand that. I've failed probably 50,000 times, and I'll probably fail 10 times on my way to work this morning. We understand that, and I understand that, and I know many of you do as well. We all fail. Society is failing. And there doesn't seem to be any real checks and balances happening in society right now. But I will say this. When you fail, it's not how you fail. It's not how bad you failed. I think Elon Musk has been bankrupt a number of times. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. I don't really keep track of the guy's accounting balance. I just know he's very successful. And with all success comes failure. I mean, unless you're just lucky and you've never failed. But what we're starting to see is society as a whole fail. And that's a real damn problem. Watching Daisy over there chasing a squirrel along the fence line. It's pretty funny. She knows she'll never get that squirrel. The squirrel knows he'll never be caught by her. But damn, they like to play. And that's what we're seeing right now in society. We have people that like to play. They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to pay their fair share. They don't want to put in the work. But they want all the successes. I mean, think about it. Am I wrong here? And the other thing I would like to talk about is standards. And when you tolerate decline, morale decay, when you start tolerating what we've been trained to tolerate in society, pronouns, dudes playing in, women's sports, you can just say whatever you are. And if I don't go along with it, then I'm the bad guy. Somebody watching could say they're Batman. And if I don't agree with them being Batman, I am the racist. I am the, misogynist. I am the transmission mechanic confused person. It becomes my fault. And when you start tolerating the failures in society, when society starts tolerating that, that becomes the new standard. And right now we're seeing the new standard being shifted across the country. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I'm glad that the United States Navy, the acting Secretary Hung Cao. I'm glad that he brought this back up. Bring it back to the forefront. The United States military needs standards. Those standards have to be enforced. From the deck plate to the conning tower. Those standards have to be enforced. Now, how do we get back to standards in society? We got to start holding each other accountable. That's how we do this. And I don't know how many people have the guts, the grit, the gall, or just the attitude to call something stupid when it's stupid. But that's what it takes. If you see something wrong and you just go along with it, you've accepted that as your new reality. You've accepted that as the new standard for which you will tolerate. I don't think I can go along with some of this crap. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. And if it takes me making fun of people for being stupid, if it takes me calling people booger eaters, I will. I'll probably call them something a little worse. But that's okay too. This is the Ben Dykes Show. Just a little video outside. A little sunrise, cup of coffee. Letting the dogs do their business. We've all got standards. What are yours? What do you accept? What will you reject? And how much have you wavered? How much have you changed? Death by 1,000 cuts. That's what's happening to America right now. It's what is happening to the foundation our country was built on. Piece by piece. The Constitution's being torn apart. The nuclear family, you know, the mom, the dad, and the kids, that's being torn apart. I don't know how much you want to understand. I don't know how much you want to admit. But that's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Ben Dykes Show. I got to go to work. I'm actually taking Fred and Daisy for a haircut because we got standards in this household. And I am not going to have some unsat haircuts, even for my dogs. See you in the next one.